You step forward, but your foot slips on a wet patch. You're not just stepping into water. You're diving into 1930s America's worst-kept secret. The Great Depression hits harder than a punch from Jack Dempsey. And it's raining cats and dogs, literally. You just woke up to the smell of last night's rain. Now it's everywhere. Mud clings to your clothes like stubborn fingerprints, and you can't shake the cold that seeps into every crevice of your body. But here's the thing, the worst isn't over yet. Suddenly, there's a sudden burst of noise from outside. Curious, you peek through the torn canvas to see what is happening. It looks like they're debating where to find more rain for breakfast. But here's the thing, it's not just water we're after. A stranger steps into view, his face grim but hopeful at the same time. He tells you that the real reason people are gathering rain is because of something in it, something valuable. You think it was just water, maybe food. Actually, it's neither. You follow him to a small circle where several people are gathered around what looks like a bucket of leftover rainwater. It's not the rain itself that matters, it's something else entirely. You think it was medicine or maybe gold dust. Actually, it's neither. The stranger scoops up some of this liquid with his hand, revealing hundreds of small bugs floating in the rainwater. You're stunned but curious. It turns out that these insects are what everyone is really after, like finding gold flakes in a river. But here's the thing, these aren't just any bugs. They explain that during certain seasons, when it rains heavily, this type of insect hatches from eggs laid during dry spells. These insects are rich in nutrients, making them a valuable food source for those desperate enough to eat anything. You think everyone would know about these bugs, right? Everyone here knew something you didn't. They had to learn it the hard way, or from someone else's misfortune. It turns out that knowledge is as crucial a resource as water itself. But just when you think this can't get worse, the clouds darken overhead once more, threatening yet another downpour. And with it, another chance for these tiny creatures to reappear. You wonder what else is out there that could turn your life around or make it even harder. You sit back on your damp ground as the rain begins anew, pondering how much more there is to learn about survival in these desperate times. And just when you thought everything was bad enough, you wake up to the sound of rain drumming against your makeshift roof. You splash around puddles in your tattered shoes, knowing every drop is worth pennies if only you could collect it and sell it for drinking water. But here's the thing. At first, you think these folks are just trying to stay ahead of the drought. It's like taking advantage of a free car wash, except instead of shiny cars, they're filling up their cisterns for survival. But probably not. You'd think collecting rain would be easy enough. Maybe it's even a smart idea given how scarce water is. Actually, it was neither. The truth is, the rain you're collecting isn't just water, it's a cocktail of everything that falls from the sky. Dust storms, ash clouds, and who knows what else mixing with those drops. It's like drinking through a straw that's also your car's air filter. And here you are, gulping it down for hydration. But here's where it gets really twisted. The most shocking detail of all is not just that people were drinking rainwater. You'd think folks would have some kind of filter or at least boil this stuff before they drink it. Maybe there's some kind of purification method whispered among the rain eaters. Actually, no such luck. Everything changes when you realize that not only are these people drinking this contaminated water, but they're also using it for cooking and washing too. It's like living in a world where rain is the new coffee. Everyone needs their daily dose of whatever chemicals fell from the sky. But probably not as harmless as all that. You can almost taste the irony as you follow suit, gulping down your share of this polluted elixir. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, a new rumor spreads like wildfire among the rain eaters. Some of them have started mixing in with the local wildlife to find cleaner sources. It's like adding mint leaves to your bathwater, hoping for clearer skin, but it might actually work. But here's what nobody expected, but here's what nobody expected. The clip talks about rain eaters in the Great Depression. It's like finding a fortune cookie with encrypted messages from the future. You're a rain eater, but what does that really mean? The sky is overcast, and you can feel the dampness seeping through your thin jacket. Everyone thought it was just about catching rain in jars to drink or use for cooking because water was scarce. But there's more to it than that. You'd think being a rain eater meant drinking rainwater directly from the clouds. Maybe it was used as medicine, like when Grandpa says you can cure everything with hot sauce and aspirin. Actually, it wasn't about drinking at all. It was about survival, catching rain to cook food, wash clothes, or even just to have something to drink. But there's a twist. You'd think rainwater was clean, right? Everything changed when people started noticing that rain wasn't just water falling from the sky. It was also carrying all sorts of debris. Dust storms were common during those times, and with no air conditioning or filters, your rainwater had more than just H2O in it. You'd think this was the worst part, drinking contaminated water every day. But there's another layer to this story. Maybe it was about finding ways to make it cleaner. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, cars and trucks are overturned in the floodwaters, adding more debris to the mix. But here's the thing. You'd think this was just about survival. Maybe it was also about innovation and desperation coming together in ways nobody ever thought possible. The stakes escalate as you realize the rain eaters weren't just surviving, they were fighting for their very existence with every drop they caught. But probably not before the next storm rolls in. You wonder if this cycle of drought and deluge will ever end. But here's what nobody expected. The rains that brought them despair also offered hope in disguise. You'd think surviving would be easier with all this water around. Maybe it was back before the droughts hit hard. But probably not. The truth is, every drop means more work for you and yours. You need to catch as much of it as possible before it soaks into the earth or evaporates in the relentless sun that follows rain like clockwork. But here is something else nobody expected. These rains would make you question everything about how you live. You start to wonder if there's more out there than this endless cycle of sun and storm. And that's when you realize something profound. You're not just a rain eater anymore. You're someone who looks beyond the horizon, dreaming of change even as the world around you remains unchanged. Lucky you for experiencing this strange dance between hope and despair. But probably not. The hardest part is admitting there's more to life than surviving day to day. And yet, here you are, pondering it all under a leaky roof. And perhaps that's the strangest part. Not that they live this way, but that we forgot they ever did.